Welcome to Lost Love Mystery, where every story unravels a secret. So, let's dive into another story. I pushed open the front door, a broad smile on my face. After a week in Chicago closing a major deal, I was eager to surprise Lena with an impromptu date night. A weekend getaway, just the two of us, to celebrate another successful real estate acquisition. But the moment I stepped into the living room, my world shattered. There was Lena, my wife of 5 years, tangled on the couch with another man. Her blouse hung open, his pants bunched around his ankles. The unmistakable sounds of passion filled the air, mingling with my ragged breaths. What the hell is going on here? I roared. Lena gasped, her eyes widening in horror. The man, some scruffy artist type, scrambled away from her, desperately trying to cover himself. Grant, Lena stammered, hastily refascinating her blouse. Don't bother explaining, I snapped, fury boiling in my veins. Get out, both of you. The man didn't need to be told twice. He grabbed his clothes and bolted for the door, not daring to meet my gaze. Lena rose to her feet, clutching her disheveled garments around her. Grant, please, listen to me. Listen what? I cut her off, jaw clenched, that you've been screwing this guy behind my back, that our entire marriage has been a lie. Hours later, Lena sat across from me, tears streaks on her cheeks. I never meant to hurt you, Grant. Things with Mason, they just spiraled out of control. Mason, the bastard's name was like acid on my tongue. Save it, I growled. I want a divorce. Her eyes widened in dismay. Grant, no please. We can work through this. Work through what? I slammed my fist on the table, making her flinch. Your betrayal? There's no coming back from that, Lena. Not for me. Resignation flickered across her face, and she nodded slowly. If that's what you want, it is. Pack your things and get out. I never want to see you again. As she gathered her belongings, I poured myself a glass of scotch, needing something to numb the searing pain in my chest. Once she'd gone, I curled my hands around the tumbler. My mind is cyclone of anger and heartbreak. That's when my phone rang. Jasper Miles, my best friend and business partner. Grant, you okay? Man, how was your Chicago trip? I let out a humorless chuckle. Yeah, well, it was good. I don't know what to say. There was a weighted pause. What, Grant? Tell me what happened. Is everything okay with you? Keeping my voice steady? My wife's been cheating on me with some two-bit artist. Can you believe that? I'm so sorry, Grant. That's messed up. Is anything I can do to make you feel better? My grip tightened on the glass. Help me make them pay. Over the next few weeks, Jasper and I dug into Mason's life, unearthing a trail of shady dealings and fraud, armed with the damning evidence. I started putting the pieces of my revenge into motion. First, I used my connections to have Mason's outstanding debts called in. Then, I orchestrated a full financial audit of Lena's gallery, knowing it would uncover enough red flags to spook her investors and clientele. You sure about this, Grant? Jasper asked one night over cigars and scotch. This is going to bury them both. I took a long drag, exhaling a plume of smoke. Precisely. They want to be together so badly? Let them suffer together. With every calculated move, I could feel the icy tendrils of hatred spreading through my veins. They devastated me, and now I would decimate them, bringing down Mason's upcoming exhibition. The make-or-break event for his pathetic art career was a delicious cherry on top of my perfectly constructed revenge sundae. You know, I told Jasper with a grim smile, I'm really going to enjoy watching them burn. The wheels of my revenge plan ground into motion. The next morning, with a few well-placed calls, I orchestrated a symphony of destruction aimed at crippling Lena and Mason's livelihoods. First, I leaned on my contacts at Mason's creditors. Listen, this deadbeat artist owes you a fortune. Time to collect, don't you think? One by one, they came knocking, banks calling in loans, suppliers demanding overdue payments. Mason must have nearly choked on his morning coffee when the letters started piling up. Next, I arranged for an extremely thorough financial audit of Lena's gallery. With a few strategic whispers about potential irregularities, the auditors descended like ravenous wolves, determined to tear her books apart. No need to thank me, I told the lead auditor with a tight smile, just doing my civic duty. Within weeks, the gallery hemorrhaged patrons and investors, spooked by the lingering clouds of suspicion. I could envision Lena pacing her office, frantic phone calls going unanswered as her world crumbled around her. But I wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. Jasper, I said into the phone, a hint of dark satisfaction in my voice. Tell me what you've got on Mason's sordid history. Oh, you're going to love this. After he filled me in, I made an anonymous call to the local art rag, feeding them a kaleidoscope of juicy details about Mason's fraud and forgeries. Just a little flame to that spark, and soon, the pyre would be roaring. 2 days later, the story broke in blazing headlines. Local artist exposed as shameless fraud. Mason's upcoming exhibition came crashing down like a house of lies, with their finances in ruins, and reputations dragging through the mud. I could already taste the sweet nectar of their suffering. But why settle for a single, delicious drop of revenge when I could bask in an endless monsoon of their misery? I arranged an impromptu interview with a local reporter, playing the part of the wounded spouse with Oscar-worthy authenticity. It was a total blind. Sighed. I lamented, careful to omit any explicit details about the affair. One day, everything was fine. The next, my whole world collapsed, a perfect cocktail of truth and omission, stoking the fires of public curiosity. I described the devastation, the heartbreak, without ever uttering Lena or Mason's names. There's still so much pain, I said, my voice catching with masterful dramatic flair. But I'm taking it one day at a time, focusing on my work. Within hours, the story exploded across every media outlet. The comments sections ran wild with speculation, outrage, and condemnation for my mysterious, unfaithful wife. When the truth about Lena and Mason finally surfaced, it was a Category 5 hurricane of scorn and schadenfreude. Her society friends abandoned her. In droves, gallery owners blacklisted Mason on sight. I could only imagine the sheer, overwhelming disgrace saturating their pitiful existence. A few months into my artfully orchestrated hellstorm, Lena and Mason decided to bite back. A fancy lawyer marched into my office, letter in hand. They were suing for defamation and privacy violations. I couldn't stifle the dark chuckle that rumbled up from my gut. Is this a joke? I arched an eyebrow at the bespectacled man, noticing the sheen of sweat on his brow. My clients have endured significant damages, Mr. Wilder, he stammered. Emotional, professional, financial, boo-hoo. I leaned back in my chair with a sneer. Did they think betraying me would be consequence-free? That there wouldn't be? I paused, letting the words drip like venom. Significant damages? He swallowed hard, realizing I wouldn't be easily intimidated. Good. My lawyers shredded their case into confetti. I countersued for the fun of it, burying them under an avalanche of paperwork and legal fees. In the end, they had no choice but to fold. Their funds depleted. As the gavel fell, I felt a surge of dark satisfaction, like a weight lifting from my shoulders. They'd struck first, and missed, leaving themselves disarmed and destitute before my final onslaught. 8 long months. After that fateful night, my phone buzzed with an unexpected name, Lena, against my better judgment. A tremor of curiosity rippled through me, Grant. Her voice quivered with what sounded like remorse. It's me. I know you never wanted to hear from me again, but I need to see you. Please. Part of me wanted to hang up to sever what fragile thread still bound us together, but the ache of unresolved wounds made me pause. Find my office in an hour. When Lena arrived, her eyes were rimmed with dark circles, her elegant beauty faded. Grant, I don't know where to begin. Try the beginning, I said flatly. She wrung her hands, gaze flickering away from my steely stare. I was a fool, a selfish, arrogant fool who took the most precious thing in her life for granted. I kept my expression impassive, but each word lanced into my heart with the sting of truth. I'll regret what I did until the day I die. She continued, tears spilling down her cheeks. But if you could find it in yourself to forgive me, even a shred, I promise I'll forgive you? The words burst forth like shrapnel. You think some tears and hollow apologies can undo the hell you put me through? Her shoulders slumped in resignation. You're right. I can never make amends. Not truly. I needed you to know how sorry I am. For several taut moments, I studied her wrecked demeanor, the brokenness she brought upon herself. Finally, I sighed. I appreciate your apology, Lena, but we can never go back to the way things were. That part of my life is over. With Lena and Mason officially in my rearview mirror, I turned my focus to the future. I channeled all my energy into expanding my real estate portfolio, brokering new deals with ruthless determination. My circle of friends welcomed me back with open arms. Good riddance to that cheating wife of yours, Greg, my old college buddy, declared over drinks one night. A rueful chuckle escaped my lips. You can say that again. A few months in, I dipped my toes into the dating pool once more. Predictably, most of the single women I met only saw dollar signs when they gazed into my eyes. But one night, at a charity gala, I crossed paths with someone different. Chloe Bennett. She introduced herself with an understated confidence. I run an interior design firm. Her warmth and passion for her craft left an impression long after the event ended. When I texted her for drinks, I was relieved she accepted. Our first date flowed with refreshing ease. Chloe didn't fawn over my wealth or status. She simply appreciated me for who I was, quirks and all. In her company, the lingering ache of Lena's betrayal finally began to heal. With each passing week, we grew closer, bound by our ambition and zest for life's finer things. Soon, she became my closest confidant, the one person with whom I could bare my soul. Chloe, I said one night as we strolled hand in hand along the riverfront, you've no idea how much you mean to me. She smiled, squeezing my hand. I think I do. The years drifted by in a blissful haze as Chloe and I built our empire together. My real estate acquisitions and her elegant design concepts made us the perfect power couple. We hosted lavish galas, rubbed elbows with high society, and blessed our good fortune daily. Every now and then, I caught glimpses of Lena's decline in the periphery. A tawdry gossip piece about her menial job, a snide aside regarding Mason's fate into obscurity after his exposed con. But their sordid fates barely registered. I was too consumed with success and happiness to spare them a second thought. One crisp autumn evening, Chloe and I stood on the balcony of our grand estate, surveying the culmination of our life's work. In that moment, the wounds of my past finally, fully scabbed over. Can you believe how far we've come? She murmured, resting her head on my shoulder. I smiled, trailing my fingers along the nape of her neck. It's been one hell of a journey, that's for sure. But as I gazed at the twinkling lights in the distance, I realized the most remarkable journey lay not in the empire we'd built, but in the life I'd reconstructed from the ashes of betrayal. Lena and Mason's transgressions had nearly destroyed me once. Now, they were mere footnotes in the grand story of my truth, a tale of resilience, vengeance, and the redemption that awaited anyone daring enough to seize it. With a contented smile, I pulled Chloe close. Against all odds, I had endured, I had conquered, and I had transcended.